Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to another session from our month long hackathon for January. This one is CyberSynergy elevating cybersecurity in the Gen AI era. Gen AI is something which is really upcoming and is a lot there in the news. Hi, Geeky 100. How's it going? Today we have two very special guests. Aryama Kumar Jana, who's a software development engineer at Amazon, and Srija Saha, who's a member of technical staff Oracle. Now, before I let them take over the stage, I will give a background of the speaker profile. So, Aryama Kumar Jana is a software development engineer recognized for his dynamic contributions to the technology sector, and he's currently holding a pivotal role at Amazon. He specializes in forecasting demand for new device products and architecting end to end features using a diverse set of technology. And beyond his engineering expertise, Arama's collaboration with Nobel laureate Dr. Leland Hartwell at the ASU Biodesign Institute and over 12 research publications reflect his commitment to blending technology and scientific research. We have someone who has a lot of experience and quite a lot of knowledge to share with us. And Srija Saha is an added software developer at leading cloud and database service provider, brings a wealth of industry experience and a solid educational background, specializing in various programming languages, databases, design patterns, AI, system design, and architecture. She plays a crucial role in developing end to end software products. And she excels in designing robust and scalable solutions to ensure optimal performance and reliability. And she has also received the Best Poster Award in Gen AI Cybersecurity, showcasing her outstanding contributions to the field. We have two very experienced folks, and I am really excited to know more from them. Welcome, Steve and Aryama. I will let you take over the stage, but before we do that, there's one thing that we always talk about in MLH. When you introduce yourself, do give a fun fact because I have given a fun fact in every stream, and every time I have to come up with a new one. So now I'm going to put you both on spot and I'll let you take over. Aryama, you're on mute. Just a heads up.
Oh, sorry. Yep. Thank you, Dikshita. Uh, hey, folks. I am Arjama, and I work as a software developer engineer in Amazon. And today I have got my awesome friend Srija from Oracle. She's a member of technical staff at Oracle with me in today's presentation. Uh, so today we will be discussing about something very interesting: cybersecurity and Gen AI, and we'll be talking about how cybersecurity and Gen AI meet together, uh, and something I called as cyber synergy. Uh, so yeah, let's continue into the fun ride, um, as we'll keep things very cool and super smart. As we are talking about smart things, uh, yeah, Sriya, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi. So I'm currently working as a software developer in Oracle, and I'm interested in cybersecurity and GenAI, and I've already worked on some research paper on it. So I'm really excited today to present some of my insights on this topic for cybersecurity and GenAI with my friend Ajama. So I'm really excited for this.
Oh, yeah. So coming to the fun fact, quick fun fact about me. Uh, Yeah, although I look like I do coding the whole day, but yeah, I'm also a foodie and also a dancer as well. So yeah, let's start. I hope many of you are also have your own extracurriculars. So let's start. I think yeah. Next slide, please. Okay, so here is the agenda that we will be talking about today. Um so we will be diving into this fascinating world of Gen AI and then discuss its impact on cybersecurity. So here, for those who don't know, like what is Gen AI? So Gen AI is a short form for generative artificial intelligence. So a very recent example that everybody might know is ChatGPT, which is into the picture nowadays. Uh, so in this era, we see that our digital world is evolving. And with that comes challenges as well. Challenges everywhere, not only in cybersecurity, but challenges everywhere. And we need to talk about this. So today we will be talking about the cyber threats and how the GenAI era has changed the cyber threat landscape. And you know that these online bad guys, they have got a bit smarter too, and now they have GenAI as a tool along with them. So they have now upgraded their game. So we need to be on the top of the cybersecurity game to keep up with them. So we'll be talking about that, and then we'll be also talking about why does all this matter. Like, well, cybersecurity experts, cybersecurity, like the people who are working in various companies to enhance cybersecurity, they are like superheroes, uh, protecting our digital world. But now in this Gen AI era, I think that it has become even more crucial. Uh, Imagine that your personal information that you are giving in any platform like a social media, you always want it to be secure and not you don't want any other person, any hackers to get that information. So we need to be careful about that. uh, then we will discuss about that how do we ramp up the cybersecurity measures in such an era. uh, we are we'll be talking about cool tech like artificial intelligence and machine learning. uh, it's like having a digital superhero sidekick helping us uh, helping us being one step ahead than the bad people. uh, Next, we will go into the secure cloud infrastructure. Uh, you can think of it like building a fortress for our data in the digital sky. So we want everything to be super secure, and we want the cloud to be super secure. We want any cloud like in AWS or Oracle OCI. We want it to be super secure fortress. We don't want to be it to be a leaky cloud. Uh, then after that, we'll be talking about the software development lifecycle. So among all this, we shouldn't forget the basics. So software is the basic of everything. The apps and programs that we use every day that are built by software developers. So will come to the basics, and we will introduce a new step in the software development lifecycle. So the normal software development lifecycle we know is a bit different from the one which we'll be discussing today. Uh, then comes the excitement, the emerging technologies. So em- as emerging technologies are there, it will bring both opportunities and risks for us. Like it's like having a new gadget that's super cool, but we need to make sure that it accidentally doesn't become a villain in our digital story. So we'll be discussing that. And now we also need to emphasize that cybersecurity isn't a solo mission. The way we do it today, we need to change it. It's a team effort. We need a collaborative approach. Everyone needs to collaborate. All the companies, all the industries, both private and public, they need to collaborate. So we'll be talking about that. It's like having Avengers in a digital world. Uh, Next, we'll be talking about how humans play a big role in this digital defense game too. uh, and also we have to be more cyber smart, we have to be more aware. We also need to know that even humans can themselves be uh, a risk sometimes in the cybersecurity domain. So we'll be talking about that. And finally we will be talking about um, what if something goes wrong, then what to do, how do we respond to a situation if something goes wrong. And that's where the cyber incident management comes in. uh, it's like having a hotline number to call like whenever things get a little bit dicey. So and finally we will have the conclusion in which we will be briefly summarizing what we discussed throughout the day, like throughout the hour. And also we will open some thoughts for you to think about in the future, like what can be the risk that might come in the future, and how robust the defense mechanisms would be. So uh, let's go to the next slide and let's start our journey. So okay, so let's break this tech of Gen AI and cybersecurity into plain English. Um, so, uh, you know that our gadgets and computer stuff are getting more fancier and faster, right? Uh, well, uh, that's what we mean by the technological advancements. It's like you get the latest version of your favorite game or app. The things are changing and it's happening pretty quickly. Now, this brings us to the Gen AI era. Uh, so it sounds like a movie, right? So, well, in a way, it's kind of. Uh, it's when artificial intelligence teams up with cybersecurity to be our digital defenders. So not only the Gen AI is a tool which has upgraded the bad guys, the hackers, but Gen AI can also be used as a tool for the defenders to upgrade their defense mechanisms. Uh, Again, think of it like a super smart sidekick that helps spot and also stop the bad guys online. Uh, but wait, there is a twist. Our cyber world is not a simple game anymore. It's more like a gigantic puzzle with tons of pieces. We have the phones, we have computers, we have smart fridges, uh, and you can name all those smart things we have with IoT and everything. We uh, Now keeping all those pieces of tech safe is like uh, trying to protect a lot of things together, and it's not easy. So now let's talk about the real world stuff. You might have heard about cyber attacks uh, on the news, right? So that's when hackers lock up the files and files on your computer, and they ask for money. I remember this happened in this decade only, like when uh, I think some 10 years ago, when many computers were affected, and when our computers got locked and we are not able to access any files, and it's like if you want to access the file you need to give the hackers the money. That's something called ransomware. Or they can sneak into a computer's system through the like suppliers. So a particular company can have a lot of suppliers or vendors, and that's also a way for the hackers to get into uh, to get into the system. So that's like a digital spy mission for them. uh, and the people whose job is to keep us safe in this digital world, like the cybersecurity folks, the people who are working in the industry like us, um, they are facing a tough challenge. It's like a never ending game, because the technologies are getting smart. The technologies are getting upgraded every day, and with AI things are changing. Uh, the whole world has changed now, and obviously the bad guys are getting smarter and more sneakier. So so we need to come up with new and clever ways so that we can keep our digital world safe. So to sum it up, so our technical world is changing very fast, and AI is joining the cybersecurity team as well as the bad guys. So we need to have robust defense systems so that um, we are also up to date with the bad guys. Like whatever they want to do, they are using AI for their attacks, but we should also be prepared for that, and we also use the same AI or a better one to tackle them. uh, okay, next let's see that uh, how can we actually tackle these issues. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, all right. Now let's dive into the nitty-gritty of the cyber threats, the like not so friendly stuff that happens in our digital world. uh, Picture this like the bad guys have upgraded their game too, and now they have some high tech tricks uh, which they're using for hacking our systems. Imagine bad software like computer viruses. They're getting like they are getting more smart with the help of AI. It's like malware, uh, and powered by a digital brain. It's making it sneakier and tougher to catch. So you might have heard that all the antivirus softwares that we're using nowadays are also using AI. because the old antivirus, the Norton antivirus that we all know about, it will not work anymore, because the hackers are getting smarter and they're using AI for this. Uh, and with Gen AI, the another thing that comes up is that we can always create new things, create new content. uh, that's again dangerous. So we need to tackle this somehow. Uh, uh, we need to have a system which can detect any kind of adversarial attacks on our system. Okay, so yeah, and then there is this social engineering attacks. It's like online trigger, the phishing emails, right? So where these bad guys will have clever tactics to fool us, and and we get fooled into doing something that we shouldn't. Now this Gen AI era that we are in is like turbocharging these bad guys. Like they have got their hands in these AI tools, making their attacks super fast and super efficient, because of course Gen AI is helping them. They have got a helping hand now, and that's to a advanced tech helping hand. So it's like it's like upgrading their tools with futuristic tech. Not cool for us, right? So in real life, think about phishing emails. These sneaky emails, they pretend to be someone that you trust, and it's like uh, someone putting someone putting an email or a message, a very personal message, trying to trick you. And that's a real example of social engineering that I talked about just now. uh, and then there is malware, the old malware that can learn and change its tactics, so making it super hard to catch. It's like a true digital villain. um, so here's the scoop. These cyber bad guys are getting smarter, and they are not just picking on one person. They are going big. It's like they are having attacks everywhere. So our digital defenders, the people, the cybersecurity experts, the cybersecurity heroes, they need to be like super detective. They need to understand each and every trick and moves of these bad guys, to keep us safe. uh, so to sum up this slide, uh, cyber threats are uh, like challenges. It's like challenges in a video game that we have played since our childhood. So it keeps getting tougher. And with the Gen AI era, they are like the hackers are leveling up their AI, and our cybersecurity experts need to stay one step ahead of them. So yeah, we need to be having the technology so that we can outsmart these digital villains, especially when we have Gen AI to them with them. Okay, next slide, please. Okay. Uh, so let's talk about the importance of cybersecurity. Why cybersecurity is important in the Gen AI era. So all our important stuff, like anything, any personal secrets, secret plans, and everything is all over the internet, right? So cybersecurity is like um, cybersecurity is the tech which is helping us shield our important stuff from the bad guys. Imagine your computer and phone. They are like they are like full of valuable things. Your secrets, your bank information, all your good stuff. We have to make sure uh, that these digital information stays safe from the hackers. Kind of having the lock. We are locking this so that the hackers don't get access to it. Now, in this Gen AI era, um, things will get a little bit tricky, as we are already discussing. You know how sometimes you get those ads online, and it feels like your devices know a little too well about you. Uh, a very good example is that maybe you're shopping for something, and and maybe a particular product, and then the systems, today the social medias, uh, they recommend you that, hey, you can buy this product. And you feel like, hey, the system knows too much about me. And that's one of the concerns as well in the privacy, although we are using AI for that, the traditional recommender systems. But that's one of the huge concern that came up recently in the US about the privacy, and like people are moving from, so this basically happens using AI. So people are moving to cookieless ads nowadays. I mean, if anybody has any interest about it, you can always go to the internet and search. It's a very big issue which happened, and Google and Microsoft, they are all going towards a cookieless ad system, just because it breaks the privacy. Just imagine that. An example of how AI knows your habits, how AI knows, a little bit more about you. That's very simple example, but the risks are far greater. They can even, uh, they can know more. So, uh, okay, coming back to our topic. So that's because now AI is always analyzing our data. It's not always friendly. It's always analyzing our data. We need cybersecurity measures in place to put to shield from this, and we need to make sure that our personal stuff stays personal. Let's get real for a moment. Think about those times when big companies get hacked and your information might be at risk. Let's talk about a bank. Why a bank gets hacked? It's your own information, how much money you have, your demographics data, your own personal data, that all gets into risk. Data is one thing, and another is the money. What about the money if the money gets into risk? So we need to think about all these things. uh, Again, another example is your favorite online store, let's say Amazon or Walmart or Flipkart. There's a data breach. You're saving all your crucial information. There may be a credit card or debit card information over there. You trust them that the data is stored securely, but what if it gets hacked? So we need to think about this, why it has, I mean, why there's a growing importance of cybersecurity nowadays. Uh, though in traditional software development, we don't put much, we don't put much emphasis on it, but nowadays it has become a big deal. So yeah, as I was telling, privacy is a big deal, right? So we want our digital cybersecurity superheroes to make sure that our secrets remain ours. In addition to that, with all the floating with all the floating data about us that's floating nowadays, we need to keep it safe and sound, because the data is no more with us. Earlier we used to have the data in our own computers, but now we have cloud. We just keep everything in cloud. So we need to make sure that everything is safe, and no one gets access to the data unless they have the secret key or the secret code. So to wrap up this slide, so cybersecurity is the, like, guardian of our like digital treasures in the virtual world, our secrets, our personal information, and everything we hold dear. So that's why it's important to emphasize that we need to be more careful about cybersecurity for every piece of code that we write nowadays. Let's go to the next slide. Okay. So how do we enhance the cybersecurity measures? So let's talk about some fancy tools that cybersecurity superheroes use, and and like and their plan how to keep this digital world safe. So we need to have a plan. So these bad guys are up to a lot of things, but we need to have a plan. We need to have a game plan to beat those guys, right? So that's what we'll be discussing in this slide. So these cool plans are called security frameworks. It's like having a playbook. So these are big names like NIST, ISO, CIS. These are organizations. Sorry. Yeah. So these are organizations which have, put a step-by-step guide that how can we protect our digital stuff. So it's like, having a recipe, which a recipe of, how to guard ourselves from this cybersecurity issues. You follow the steps, and voila, you have a strong cybersecurity setup. So that now imagine that we have some kind of a crystal ball to see into the future. uh, that's something called threat intelligence. So it's like, we predict that how the future threats can be. So it's like an early warning system, uh, for us or any kind of cybersecurity experts, uh, or people working in this domain. uh, so the basic thing is that we keep an eye on the threat intel, and then our cybersecurity experts or heroes, they can see that what the bad guys are planning, and then stop them from any kind of attacks. Or at least if we can't stop them, then at least, um, we should be ready to respond to the attacks once it's done. So let's get real with an example. uh, Sometimes, like how our computer warns you about a suspicious link. So that's called threat intelligence. So in your Gmail or in your emails nowadays, like you get a phishing warning, or in any suspicious email, you get a very good warning. Even in your own computer also, you get warning for for a software. Our computers have also got advanced, so that's something called threat intelligence. It's like your computer or your email that has got a sixth sense for detecting that, hey, this thing might be a bad stuff. Pretty cool, right? So last but not the least, we have got risk management. So it's like our cybersecurity superheroes, they are being really smart about knowing where the danger might be. So they do a assessment of the risk, figure out how to stay safe, and then they keep an eye for any new threats that might come up. So it's like, planning a mission to like tackle these bad guys. So so we know the risk. The better we know our enemy, the better we know how to fight them. So the better we know how to. So it's about planning. The better we plan, the better we can handle these. So security frameworks, threat intelligence, and risk management. So they are like the tools that should be in the cybersecurity utility belt. They can help, they can help the people working in this domain stay one step ahead, and keep our digital world safe and sound, and keep all our data private. Like whatever data, whoever is allowed to access the data can should only be able to access the data. Cool. Let's roll into the next slide. So, uh, all right, time to chat about some really cool tech stuff: artificial intelligence and machine learning. These are um, two stuff I'm sure that everyone has heard about, and it's very hot in I think every country in the world today. So why not use them in cybersecurity? Like think of them as the superheroes in cybersecurity, bringing some serious brain power to the digital defense team. So nowadays, the only cybersecurity we are having, most of the cybersecurity is a traditional one. But why not build artificial, bring the artificial intelligence and ML into cybersecurity as well? So what's the deal with AI and ML? So they uh, they are really efficient, and if we can train it the right way, and they can spot the bad stuff. They can even analyze any weird behavior, and also predict when a trouble is brewing. So they can also give an earlier warning that, hey, like the threat intelligence I just talked about. So they can give a warning that, hey, something is going on. And So it's like again having a super smart security guard for our like all the digital treasures that we have in the virtual world. So let's break it down into real life examples. You know that um, you know like how our email, like Gmail, right? So Gmail puts the spam messages in a special folder. That's AI. That's the simplest example that we can give of here. So Gmail doesn't know exactly, like there are a lot of emails and we don't, it's practically impossible to have all the email addresses in the world and then figure out which is a fake email address, which is a real email address. It's plain AI that we are using in emails nowadays to figure out that hey, this might be a spam. Yeah. So and it's working. Most of the cases we see that the emails actually like come out to be a spam, and it's not. Yeah. Sometimes there are exceptions where an original email, like where a good email can also be flagged as spam. But most of the time, I mean, the AI works correctly. It's pretty awesome stuff. Uh, so it learns. So how it works? So it basically learns from like what are the spammy part in the messages. So it basically, like if I tell very basic terms, it classifies that hey, this is a spammy message and this is a very important message. So it learns from like millions of emails, like the messages in the emails, that how to interpret it. Now think about a credit card company. They might alert if there is some purchase which is out of the ordinary, so we got those credit card alerts. That's again machine learning. So it's like pattern detecting patterns, because these credit card companies of course have the data of your spending patterns, and if the pattern is a little bit off, they know that yeah, something might be wrong, and then they use this to keep our money safe. So these are very like basic stuff that are being used, but we need to ramp up. We need to have more applications. We need to think that how we can use AI more into cybersecurity. So now these technologies do not just stop here. They have got applications like fancy ways of using them. For example, yeah, sorry, so for example, uh, they can automatically detect when something fishy is happening, right? So it's like pretty cool that we are actually sensing danger without the danger actually happening. They can also analyze uh, like how you usually use your own computer or your online system, and if something strange happens, they know that how to check it out and to inform you. So that's one aspect of AI. But wait, there is more. uh, there are digital fortune tellers too. So by looking at past data and patterns, AI and ML can also predict that where these bad guys can strike next. So that is something also to think about. If we know that that if there's a pattern, it's like solving a detective case. Like you might have, I'm sure you might have seen all the detective movies. So if we find a pattern, uh, and we know that hey, this is the place where these people can strike next, then we will be prepared. It's like it's like having a digital superhero who knows even like when the villain is, where the villain is planning the attack even before they try to attack. Try to attack. So we actually know that where the attack is going to happen, and we are prepared with a tech to tackle it. So these are some things to think about. So in this slide, I discussed that AI and ML can be very genius detectives, and also they can be like kind of fortune tellers of where the next attack is happening for the cybersecurity team. So we should think about using more AI and ML in the cybersecurity space, especially given today's world where AI is being used in an attack as well. So yeah, I think that would be a great idea. Let's go to the next slide. So okay, cool. So let's talk about cloud security. So, like your photos and files and videos, whatever you keep, maybe the photos in your iPhone or your Android phone, these nowadays sync with the cloud. So everything lives in the sky, everything is a digital sky, and instead of a computer, right? So we need to make sure that that digital sky is like as safe as like Fort Knox. So Fort Knox is one of the like fort in like prison in US. So we need to make sure that it's like as safe, so that our data doesn't get leaked. So imagine that that cloud is like a big playground, big digital playground, and we have to put some fence around it. We have to lock the gate, and we have to keep an eye on who is inside, who is getting access to that gate. That's what we called access control. uh, so it's like having a bouncer on the digital club. uh, so we make sure that only the right guys get in, and we don't allow the wrong guys to get into it. Now, uh, just like we wouldn't want someone peeking into, like peeking into our house, we also don't want unauthorized eyes into the in our cloud stuff as well. So we use something called encryption. uh, it's like turning our digital secrets, by secrets I mean our like information, our personal information, very simple, or banking information, anything. So we convert them into a kind of secret code, which only like the people who are authorized to access it, or the cybersecurity personnels, they can understand. So picture this, that like cloud is like a city in our virtual world, and we have to make sure that every building in that city is strong and safe. Every building contains the persons. Every building, I mean, it's not actually persons, it's metaphorically, but it's like every building is like a storehouse of the information, of your personal information. It contains your personal identity. So that's something we need to take care, that these buildings are safe and secure, and nobody steals, nobody is able to even enter those buildings. That's called the infrastructure protection. It's like making sure that our digital city is ready for any kind of cyber storm. So in real life, think about your favorite uh, streaming device. Let's say Netflix, or maybe Amazon Prime, uh, or Hulu. So any kind of digital streaming device. So they use the cloud to store all those movies and shows, that's your favorite. So they have to make sure that only the people who are paying, they can watch, right? And no one sneaks into that without a ticket. So that's how cloud security is in action already. But wait, there's more. Compliance. So it's like playing by the rules. So just like any sports game, we know, like uh, any sports game, we have a certain set of rules. Uh, Maybe a baseball or cricket or football, soccer. So they have rules. So our digital world also has rules, right? So we want to follow these rules and make sure that our digital city, it stays within the rules, it stays fair and square within the rules. So for example, when you sign up for a new app, that might ask you for, you know nowadays, like every app that we sign up for, they ask that if you are okay if they use your data. And that's them being transparent to you, and that's uh, also recent, when Apple added something called ask the app not to track you. So yeah, that's something we are going towards, that we want to be more transparent and fair, that your data, private data, is not being used anywhere. So cloud security is something, is it's about making sure that our digital playground is safe, with very strong fences, secret codes, and also we are also following the rules to keep things fair. Let's move to the next slide. Yeah. So let's talk about software, the interesting part. So software is like the apps and programs that make our whole like digital world go around. All the software developers like me and Srija, we all code this digital world, every day and every day. But one thing, the traditional software development lifecycle that we talk about, and I mean, search anywhere in all our traditional books, we talk about software development lifecycle. And the basic things that it has is the requirement gathering, the design, and then the implementation and the maintenance. But we never talk about cybersecurity. So that is why I call something like the secure software development lifecycle. We need to grow into a mindset where we also need to include cybersecurity as a part of the life cycle. So until your cybersecurity is passed, we shouldn't say that the software development life cycle is complete. So that's what we are suggesting over here. uh, it's like you are building a house, but we need to think that we need to lock our front door, right, to keep the bad guys out. But we don't have this mechanism as of now, because we didn't have such high tech cybersecurity attacks earlier. So I think we didn't never thought about it. But yeah, I think we should think about this now. So it's like, you can imagine like making a digital house, and we want to make sure that there are no secret passages in the house so that the bad guys can sneak in. Although we know that the house we are building is very good, the software we are building is very good, but still there should be someone. So there is a concept of cybersecurity certifiers which multiple big brands are coming up nowadays. uh, but it needs to be, it is still a thing which very few companies I know are working on. But yeah, the software has to be cybersecurity certified, and it has to be rigorously tested for cybersecurity, and then only passed on to production. So that's where the secure, I call it the secure software development life cycle that comes in. It's like having a blueprint and making the software super secure. Uh, okay. Uh, so in a nutshell, I can tell that the software, SDLC is about the software development lifecycle is about building your software, building your house. But we need to make sure that with the proper security, the walls of the house are strong and all the secret passages are sealed off using the best ingredients. Uh, yeah, next slide, please. Yeah, let's reach till go through the next slides.
Yeah, hi. Thanks, Arjuna. So as we know, we have IoT, blockchain, and quantum computing, which has been introduced recently. So IoT devices like smart home, Alexa has revolutionized our daily life. But we have some, but along with the benefits, it brings a lot of cybersecurity threats, like when the devices communicate between each other, it might be susceptible to third party attacks, which can be used by hackers to gain access to sensitive information. So also there are some other reasons like lack of security update. If the IoT devices are not updated with the latest version, it might be useful by hackers to hack the device and gain access to some confidential information. Also, sometimes these IoT devices can use some poor password or some poor authentication mechanism, which can again attract the hackers. And this is not desirable. Like, let's say we're using some smart fridge in our home, and if that temperature is being manipulated by the cyber criminals or some third party hackers, the food might get spoiled. And so second comes the blockchain technology. So as we know, it's a digital wallet where can we do authentic transactions. But along with like benefits, it also attracts some cybersecurity threats as well. like while doing the transaction, the user might leak the private key, and which can be used by the cyber criminals, to attack the blockchain network, and it can disrupt the transaction. Also, the other reason could be that blockchain uses some consensus protocols to reach to an agreement when you buy any block. Consensus protocols also sometimes are vulnerable to third-party attacks. So next comes to quantum computing. So we have some encryption standards which protects our day-to-day information, but with the advent of quantum computing, like it can break the um, encryption standards which normal computers can't break. So with the quantum computing, the encryption mechanism is at risk, and it brings the cybersecurity threat. So we can go to the next slide. So yeah, I will talk about the type of collaborative approach we can use for defending the cybersecurity in day-to-day life. So one can be that the government and private organizations can come together to share threat intelligence and best practices, so that both of these organizations can learn from each other and can take defensive steps. Second is like media channels can share information about the threats, and this can improve the defense strategies. So next comes the cyber defense alliances, which act like avengers in our digital world. They focus on mitigating the cyber threats, like whenever there is any hacker attacks on the devices. Yeah, we can go to the next slide. So now comes the human factors in cybersecurity, like how we can we can aware the employees and stakeholders in the company by giving them some training, like how to mitigate the risk, how to take some defensive strategies for the attacks. Next comes the insider threats, where human actually acts as a bad person, like within the company. Some employee can reveal confidential information, and this can create a insider threat for that. Next comes the social engineering. you know in this kind of thing, like a person can click on any phishing email, and from there the user might leak their personal information to the hackers, which make them vulnerable to cybersecurity attacks. We can roll to the next slide. So this is just about incidents response and cybersecurity management. So this is step by step procedure when there's some cybersecurity incident happens. So how do we plan it and how do we handle it? So first we have to plan, like if some incident happens, what are the steps to follow, and then how to handle to mitigate the incident. And lastly, there will be some, we can use some digital forensics to investigate and analyze the cyber incidents to find out actual the root cause of the incident and can act accordingly in future. Next slide. So yeah, so we can conclude several points. So as we have already discussed about the importance of cybersecurity in the GenAI era, so we can protect our data, um, and then also we have discussed some key strategies to mitigate the cyber security threats. And then we have discussed some of the future challenges like we'll have cybersecurity challenges in quantum computing, in blockchain, in IoT. So we have to like think about these things, like how we can mitigate those things in coming future. And uh, with challenge, we already know we have to think about the defensive strategies, so we can use AI, ML, and predictive analytics, uh, to have some proactive cybersecurity defense strategies, and this can overall improve the cybersecurity threat. Um, yeah, I think that's all from both of us. Yeah,
Okay.
thank
And
you. And
thank you, Srija, and thank you, Anama. I think there's one question. It was asked on Twitch, and since your reply is in YouTube, I'll just
Mhm.
share it here. So, Geeky asked, when should we think about cybersecurity in software development lifecycle? At which stage of the cycle specifically? So, do you want to just say the answer and explain it here?
Yeah, sure. So I feel that security is something that needs to be integrated into every stage. I mean, it's not a particular stage in the software development lifecycle. It's like testing, right? So testing we do at every stage. So it should start directly from the requirement space. So when we are ideally talking about the requirements, we should also have something called security requirements. When we are creating the requirement doc, initially we should also have something called security requirements, and we should clearly phase out that hey, these are the security requirements for this particular project, because these are something every project has different kinds of security requirements and different kind of uh, access levels. Then coming to the design phase, we need to ensure that these security features that we are talking about, they are incorporated into design of the software architecture. So that is both about the high level design and the low level design. At a high level, we first figure out that hey, these are the places, these are the blocks where we need to put the um, cybersecurity into place. But finally, when we do it the low level design, we need to make sure that everything is in place. Then the implementation, in implementation obviously we will be using, since we have in the design, obviously we will be using that. So also we will be following secure coding practices. Finally, in the testing, what we really miss is that we never do a security testing, uh, I mean, unless you are actually working in a cybersecurity team. Most of the teams, what we miss in today's world is that we mostly skip something called security testing. We do all kind of integration testing, unit testing, load testing, but we should also have something called security testing. Common, very common security testing that we have are called penetration testing, that we call pen test in the industry, or some vulnerability assessments. But we should do more deeper security testing. And then comes the maintenance phase. There also we need to regularly update, and patch the software, because these threats are growing day by day. So even in the maintenance phase, that we when we maintain the software that has already been made, we need to continuously monitor that what new security can come, I mean what new security threat can come to this software, and we need to upgrade the code, if that makes sense.
Okay. I think we're a little over time, so we can't take up any more questions. Thank you so much, Teja and Arama, for joining. But before we conclude, folks, we have our month-long hackathon live right now. This session was a part of month-long hackathon in January, and you can go to this link and make sure that you participate and submit your submissions. Thank you so much once again for joining, and it was a really really insightful sessions, and I think our hackers had a lot of fun. um, Thank you so much, and happy hacking everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Bye
thank
everyone.
you. Bye.